So let us jump back in time. Where were we born? Where was we born and raised, Ronetta?
So I was born and raised on the south side of Houston, Texas. Houston is home. This is pretty much so all I know is H Town.
Is that H? And what was it? What was your experience like growing up in the south side of Houston? Was it because obviously depending on where you are,
Right.
you could be in the suburbs and it's pretty nice, or you could be, so were you in suburb type environments, or were you in the
So
coast?
I was in the suburbs. My dad was a single father, so my grandmother helped out with me when my dad would go to work or the studios, or either we would all tag along. So my grandmother's neighborhood was pretty quiet. All the kids knew my dad, all the kids knew her. Um, it was just a really cool neighborhood.
Hmm.
I can't really explain the kids now wouldn't understand the things that happened in that neighborhood where we would get out in the street, kickball, um, play tag, hide and seek. We didn't really have the type of technology that we have now.
Definitely
So
not.
we
So
had to get out there and get active.
there was a lot more of a community sense where there was a lot of physical activity going on. As you say, you were out there on your bikes, hide and
Right.
seek, making tree houses maybe, and
Yeah. It was a lot of adventures in my grandmother's neighborhood. I tell my cousins now, like, y'all don't know fun.
mm,
Y'all will never understand fun.
definitely, definitely. And was it a mixed neighborhood, Hispanic, Latino, Black, or?
So it was very mixed. We had two neighbors. One of our neighbors was actually Chinese,
Oh,
Mr. Win. His daughter and I, we were best friends. Her name is Trina, and she is actually who got me into the orchestra. Her parents listened to nothing but classical music. She
hmm.
wasn't allowed to listen to rap or um,
Oh,
pop or anything like that. It was strictly classical music, like Beethoven. She knew
hmm.
how to play the piano, the bass cello. She knew how to play every kind of classical instrument that you can possibly think of. That was her background.
Yes.
So yeah, we were strictly diverse. Across the street, I learned about reggaeton. Miss Martinez lived across the street. That was
Mm.
the neighborhood lady for tamales. So every weekend she would have her little table out there, and the kids knew you just go over there, you can grab a tamale, grab whatever you want. So yeah, it was really diverse. It really was, and I'm really thankful for that. The community was more of a family,
Hmm.
so the support in my grandmother's neighborhood was outstanding as far as shows, music, talent shows. I knew that the neighborhood was going to come out and support, and they still do. So
Mm.
yeah, it was beautiful.
So from an early age, were you always thinking of entertaining and singing, or has this kind of grown on you?
Um, so I used to tell my dad I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to teach history, science. I just wanted to be a teacher. But I told him that was my backup plan if I didn't become a pop star first. So for career day, I was always a pop star for career day.
And
So
who?
it's been in my blood, I'm gonna say, for a very, very long time.
And what can you remember uh, a situation or maybe a particular artist that made you think, I want to be like that person?
It was sure. Um,
Sure.
yes.
Okay.
So I was a Cher fan as a kid. I enjoyed her the way she entertained.
Hmm.
I had the liberty of going to one of her concerts. I think I was 5 years old, and I remember telling my grandmother, like, that's what I want to do. I want to perform like her. She's in costumes.
Yeah.
my favorite song was "Do You Believe in Love After Love?" Like that was it. That was my theme song. I just wanted to be like her.
And I guess,
So
as you
we
say,
definitely.
at that age as well, and mixed with, excuse me, with her singing talent, it was the theatrics of it all, wasn't it? It was the costumes, it was the set design.
Yeah. Like she had so much fun and it looked like she was so comfortable up there. She was in her own world and you couldn't take your eye off. You had no choice but to watch because you would be scared that you would miss something and you want to take it all in. So when I went to see her, I had a voice. When I came back, it was gone because I'm screaming like, "You're the best. I want to be like you." Like if someone had a camcorder to have that footage from that night, that would have told whoever would ask me a question like, if you want to be, that footage would tell you
Mm,
from that moment on, I knew I wanted to sing. I wanted to perform and I wanted to grab an audience the way she did.
yeah. Well, to talk about that, what is it like when you're performing and you've pretty much got the audience in in your hands of sorts, and they're singing along, they're doing they're making all the right noises. What does that sensation, if you can sort of quantify that, what does that kind of feel like?
It's emotional. It happened once in San Antonio. Me and D1, we have a song called Boss, and it was fairly new. We had just put it out. And when we went to San Antonio, we're getting on stage and the house is packed. You cannot see the door. Like it is packed. And when we got on stage and they played the song, the crowd just instantly went crazy. The lights, the camera started coming out. And I'm looking at D1 like, did we do something? Like, what's going on? He's looking at me. And as soon as the beat drops, we put the microphones to our mouths to get ready to sing our words. And they did it for us.
Whoa.
So we're just sitting here looking at each other like, how do they know this song? And they knew it word for word for word. So the whole night we're just doing this, like, and I think I looked at him and he's like, "You're crying." I'm like, "It's happy tears, bro. Like this has
Yeah.
never happened." And to this day, that is like our go-to song. And people sing that song with us. And it's just, I don't know. It just makes me cry every time. So
That's
I'm
a
still not used to it.
that's a nice feeling. What can you um well, do you know why they knew, like specifically San Antonio, when you went there, did you get a lot of radio play there or something, or did you do a lot of promoting in that city?
That is the thing. We never did radio there until the week of the show. They didn't play that song until the night of the show. It had just probably been out for about a week. The only place that we promoted that song was literally Instagram and
Mm,
Facebook. We never dropped the song here in on the radio station in Houston. We never did any of that. We just wanted to kind of ease it out there because
yeah,
that was my first project and that was my single. And the demographic of the song, it actually showed that more people downloaded it in the Austin, the San Antonio area.
mm,
So we have more fans in Austin and San Antonio than in Houston.
which
And it's weird that it's like that, but
yeah,
because the people in Houston already know you,
hmm,
they feel like, oh, well, I can just go on Facebook and listen to her
yeah,
sing, or
yeah,
I know
yeah.
her, so I'll just call her and
Call
get her,
her.
which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But you'll find more support outside of your home, and that's for every artist.
I know that very well. I know that very well. It seems you do get recognized outside of your own city or state more, which is strange. As you say, you know so many different people and they know of what you do, but as you say,
Right?
when the numbers don't lie.
They don't.
It's a pity. I mean, that obviously Houston, Texas, well, Houston specifically is a very different place to what it was in the 90s,
Yeah.
late 90s and early thousands, where there was so much support for all of the artists coming up and stuff. It I would like to see a change,
And it
'Cause-
slowly is. I would
Mhm.
say that it is slowly changing because I feel like the world is recognizing that there's some pretty good talent in Houston. We're not just rappers, and we're not just stuck with our culture, but we're trying to make music for the world and not just our state or our city.
Well, you know what? You're right in a way, but at the same time, the mindset of the creators who put in and laid the foundation were making music for literally Southside Texas. I mean, sorry,
Right.
Southside Houston. That was it. But
No,
y-
nowhere else for
no,
nothing else. Yeah.
nowhere else. But the North Side were feeling it. Austin was feeling it. Dallas was feeling it. Fort Worth was feeling it. Beaumont, Texas, Corpus
Yeah.
Christi, yeah, Galveston was feeling it. Arkansas, we can go all over the 50 states. And then
Mm-hmm.
little old me in wet ass cold England, I'm feeling
Woo!
it. We're feeling it. Sweden, you know what I mean? So I understand you're right. You do make it for that demographic, but it's still permeated globally with the help Rising Paradise, the DJ Screw, who screwed the whole world. All right,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
there, and
Definitely.
based upon that foundation, everybody, even up to now to 2020, are taking portions and bits and pieces from the Houston culture specifically, and are
Mm-hmm.
flourishing. So I would say, still maintain
The
your
culture made an impact. It made a big impact.
major impacts.
Yeah, it did.
So you have to congratulate yourself for being a resident and for being a contributor to the scene, and also
Thank you.
not necessarily wanting to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Of course you want to be current and stuff, but that classic sounds, the ideas, the thought
It's
process
stuck.
behind, yeah.
It's stuck. Yeah. You can't get rid of it. I don't care how many times you think that, oh, okay, well, now I'm making music that is not just going to be stuck in Houston. You always end up putting a slap song on the album. You always do.
Mandatory,
You
isn't it?
always lead back. You always lead back to it. I have a song on my album. No matter how far I'm gonna try not to. It's like an addiction. You have to have something in there.
Mm,
Something about some candy paint or
yeah.
the neon lights. You gotta
Mm.
have something just to put your stamp on it. Like, I'm from Houston, man.
This
That's what
is
we do.
it. Exactly, exactly. Don't forget where you come from, rep
Never,
that
never forget.
H. Definitely. Taking it back to school, were we one of the popular ones at school? Or were we in cliques? Like, kind of explain what your experience was like at school.
So I transferred schools from my second semester of ninth grade. So I was considered the new kid. If you ask anybody that went to school with me, they would say, oh no, you were popular.
Mhm.
I don't really think I was. I think I was just the chick that just floated around, free spirit, knew everybody. I hung out with the popular kids, the not so popular kids. I found the nerds interesting. So I had a different table to sit at for
Mm,
lunch, depending on how I felt. Yeah,
that's
I'm gonna
it.
go sit with the nerds today and just kind of see what they got going on, or I'm gonna go say hi to the jocks and see how the game was.
Yeah, yeah.
Or, I just kind of wondered. I didn't really have a clique. I had one best friend, actually two, my husband, and there was another girl I grew up with. That was pretty much so it. I just kind of, yeah, just made my way through.
So at that early stage, you clearly had a presence about you and the ability to adapt to multiple different types of social environments.
Yeah, definitely. Like, to this day, I don't have just one group. I hang out with everyone. All of my friends are different, and they all come from different backgrounds, and they're all different nationalities. And if I choose to bring everybody together, everyone is going to say the same thing. She is a free spirit. Like,
Mhm.
how do you hang with her? She's just so chilled and goofy. I
What
don't
what
know.
what star sign are you?
I am a Taurus.
Bullheaded Taurian.
Yep.
Okay. Early or latter part of
So I'm right in the beginning, May 3rd.
whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not that stubborn then if you're a Maytorian.
I got a little bit of it in there, but
Oh, I wouldn't say a little bit.
people can work with it.
Yeah, 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 most definitely.
Eh,
um, we're growing up with grandma and pops. I take it grandma was a spiritual lady, religious lady.
Very religious. Sundays, don't make no plans for no birthday parties until after 1 o'clock. That's when service is over.
Hmm.
Wednesdays, you need to get dressed because you need to go to choir practice. I was in the choir. So yeah. Um,
And this is
Bible
Baptist
study,
church.
Sunday school, Baptist church, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't really have an option
Hmm.
to do too much on Sundays, or my grandma said the Lord's Day. That was it. You went to church, you came back, you ate food with your family, and you rest.
Hmm.
That is it. You prepare yourself for the week.
Indeed. And
That was
are
her
you,
rules.
totally get it, totally understand it. It's part of the foundation which has created the being that we have before us. Are we still in the word?
So yes, it's a little different now. I have to attend church on Zoom because of the pandemic. I really
Oh,
miss church, like
yeah.
sitting in a church. But
But you remember
um,
when two or more are gathered in my name,
yeah,
that is
definitely.
church.
That is church. So the the whole congregation is on Zoom.
Hmm.
We can slide and say hi. We still do fellowship, so it's not too different. I just do it a little different in my house. I put my phone on the TV
Yeah.
so I can see the pastor. I can see my family members on there,
Yes.
and we hook it up to the Bluetooth. So we have church and surround sound until
Whoa.
further notice.
Okay. You ain't missing
um,
nothing.
yeah, no, we just brought it home in my living room. So
Mm.
it's a
Oh,
little different, but I'm still receiving the word, and that's all that matters. So
exactly. Give thanks.
yeah,
Give. And are we still Baptist or have we gone outside of the denomination?
I am still Baptist. My husband is. We were in the process of getting my daughter her ceremony, but COVID happened. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, she's going to be raised up in the word too. The world needs it.
Oh, most definitely. He only left you basic instructions before leaving
Leaving
Earth.
this earth. Yep. So
Yes,
yeah, definitely.
indeed. And what about Pops? Pops.
So my dad's big on church too. My dad is actually the one who pushed me into the choir because at first I was like, I don't want to go up there and sing. I want to sit by y'all.
Mm,
So my dad was like, no, you get up there and you use your voice and praise God. And
mhm.
that is what you're going to do. So I grew up singing with not the youth choir, but the big choir. So I was the only tiny one
Ah,
standing with the big people. And I got my first solo with the big choir.
was that
And my
because
dad,
your voice was powerful enough to be up there with the seniors rather than?
my dad used to always say that. So they took me out of the youth choir because I oversung on a lot of songs and kind of oversang the kids. So it was kind of like a solo because you couldn't really hear nobody but me.
You was doing your thing.
Yeah. So they decided instead of just taking me out of choir completely, we'll put you with the adults. And I sang soprano one, soprano two, alto one, and alto two. And sometimes I helped out with the tenors. Never got to the bass quite yet, but
Oh no, no, I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't expect it.
yeah,
Not with your
can't go that
slight
low.
with your slight frame. No way. I can't see that there.
Can't go that low. But yeah, my dad just kind of was like, you, that's gonna help train your voice. And it really did. It to me, it helped strengthen it. And the pastors, you hold those notes. You don't stop singing until you see this hand drop.
Mm.
So he's just up there like this, like louder, louder, so the congregation can hear you louder. So you just up there, and you never know but it actually strengthens your voice, your diaphragm, and
Yeah.
it helps you to hold your notes longer. So it helped me a lot. And we don't have choir now because of, you know,
The zombie
COVID.
apocalypse with Most
Yeah,
High
COVID
willing.
just kind of stopped
Yeah.
everything. So my dad is taking the liberty to start training me now.
Oh,
Yeah, his training is not easy.
I,
It's very hard.
I can imagine. I can imagine. So what was it like growing up with a I guess, well, you tell me, what was it like growing up with, with a singing father, and all of these records, and you know, was it really fun? Was it like
He was, he never let that determine parenting. So I went to a private school, and if my dad had a show in Port Arthur, I went to Port Arthur.
Mhm.
But I would sit in the limo and do all of my schoolwork with Pimp C's son until they got finished doing what they would do. And then they would
Ah,
get in the limo, we would go back to the hotel. My dad would make sure all my work was correct. So when we got back home, I could turn it in. So
yes.
my dad was still a dad. Like it wasn't, I'm not your dad right now, I'm Ronnie Spencer.
Mm,
No, it was daddy gotta go sing real quick, do your work. When we come back, let's make sure everything's okay, and then we'll go find something fun to do. That's how I remember it. It's always been easy and pretty cool. And if I couldn't go with him, like if I had a test or something like that, or um, in elementary, I was on a little cheerleading team. If I had a game or something like that, then he would
mhm,
say, "Hey, daddy has to go out of town, but you're going to stay here with your grandmother. And when I get back, we'll go
mhm.
figure out some stuff or something like that." So
Yeah.
I understood, okay, well, daddy's doing this. So I know sometimes he's not going to be at the games, but he still found a way to make it to some of them. So I'd be out there doing my little cheerleading thing and look up and I'm like, oh snap, that's my
Ah.
Joe. Look, my dad came. Like, that's my daddy. And he'd always have a giant teddy bear or some chocolate or something. I'm like, I
Mm,
thought you were out of town. Well, we finished early, so here I am.
yeah, man.
So yeah, my childhood with my dad was awesome.
Give
It
thanks.
was the two of us against the world, and it is still like that now. The
Yay.
grandbaby gets most of the love now, but I still get a little bit.
You get the little scraps after now.
I get the leftovers.
Hey, is Pop's gonna be on the album as well?
So my dad is going to be on the album. He don't know it yet, but
Wink,
he
wink,
gonna be on
nudge,
it.
nudge. Yeah, yeah. It's gotta
I,
be.
I sneak it to him a little bit, like I need you to go do this, and no, this is your album. You do your album, and I do my album.
No, no,
He
no,
gonna be
no.
on there. Y'all gonna hear him in the background singing some
Yeah,
la da da da's and
yeah,
Lil Wells.
man. Yeah, exactly.
He has no choice.
It's mandatory, man. It's mandatory.
Yeah, there's no choice.
How did we get on? Um, another uh soldier gone too quick. Big Mo Rise in Paradise. How did you get on that? On that track?
So I wasn't supposed to be at the studio with my dad that night, but he snuck me out the house and I ended up going to the studio. Um, I heard the track being made, but I still didn't know that I was going to get on the track. And I don't think my dad knew either. Well, on our way to leave, he gets a call from D-Rec, which is the CEO and owner of Rec Shop Records.
Hmm.
And he says, "Hey, we need your daughter on a song." And my dad's like, "My baby? Like, y'all want my baby on a song?" And they're like, "Yeah, we just needed to say a couple of things." And when I get there, I'm excited because I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm finna go in the booth like my dad. This is my time." I was
Uh,
like 7 years old.
7.
Yes.
Wow.
They put me in the booth and I couldn't reach the microphone. No matter how much they dropped it, I couldn't reach it. So I ended up having to stand on a stool to sing in the mic. And my dad had to make a dummy track because I was like, well, what am I going to say? And he made the dummy track and he says, repeat everything daddy just said, and we're going to take daddy off from under you.
Mm.
So I said, okay. Well, they made me think that I was practicing. They were recording the whole time. So I'm just in there and I can remember like in my head, like I'm about to be like daddy, I'm about to be a superstar. Like this is awesome. And then my dad says, come out the booth and come listen. And I just remember looking at him like, that's me. I did that. That is me, daddy. You see that? That is me. And then not even a good 2 weeks later, I'm in the room playing and my grandma comes running out the room and she's like, you're on the radio. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm playing Barbies though, Granny. Like,
Mm.
that's pretty cool. And I'm sitting here playing with my dolls, and then I'm like, oh, Granny said I'm on the radio. And I go on the radio, and it's me on the little box.
That
And then
was
when
a
I went to school, all the kids are like, hey, they said your name on the radio. And I'm like, yeah, I went and I did a song like my dad. And that was it, man. That was awesome. Best
I,
feeling ever.
I can imagine. I bet that got you hooked.
Yeah, after that, that was like, that was all I needed just to be in the studio.
Mm. So, how long was people at school, your schoolmates? Um, well, how long did that fame last? That's the best way to put it. How long did the fame last for that song? Because that was in rotation for quite some time.
It lasted till I'm gonna say I was about 10, and I changed schools again because I had strange people coming up to the school asking to take pictures with me, and my dad didn't like that.
Whoa.
So I changed schools, and the school that I went to was a Christian school. So no one had ever heard of the Bar Baby or let alone rap music.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking about we're in uniform with the little bow ties, the
Yeah.
stockings, the socks, the uniform backpacks, strict. No one knew anything. Um, I want to say in 5th grade, new kid came in and basically was like, hey, y'all know who this girl is? Like, she performed at Lockwood Skating Rink last week. That's the girl that sings Bar Baby. And I'm just like, oh no. And I changed schools again.
Ah.
So yeah, I changed schools again. And my dad was like, this time I'm going to put you in public schools because at this point, it's not going to matter what school
Mm,
you go to.
yeah. You're out
Public
there
school.
now, man. You're in the world.
Yeah, so I couldn't do anything about it. So I switched to public schools and it was good for about 3 years. My dad told me not to bring it up in school so I wouldn't have any problems. And then Google became a thing. And I don't know why this kid named Ray decided he wanted to Google everybody in the classroom and Googled me. And that was it. He showed that to everyone in the school. So I ended up leaving school early that day. Then there was a
Oh,
meeting with my teachers. And the thing was in school, I am Ronnetta Spencer,
yes.
not the girl that sings Barre.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're going to do. And then high school came and no one cared because Google was everywhere and all the kids knew.
Yeah.
And it worked because I went to a predominantly Blacks in Mexican school. So they were cool with it.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh, yeah, that's the old girl. She sing Bar Baby. Yeah, my dad used to rap with your dad.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, I fit in. This is cool. Okay, this is awesome.
It's not
So
so
yeah.
different there. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't different in high school. It was easier. It was a breath. They didn't care. Okay, you sing the Bar Baby. That's good, girl. Congratulations. Proud for you. Anyways, what are we doing for homecoming?
And
That's how it was. It was
what are you wearing tonight, girlfriend?
yeah, it was easier in high school. So
But
yeah, it was pretty cool.
the good old days, the good old days. So we've progressed. We did that as your very first track at 7. When was the next time that we appeared vocally?
I was 11 and I ended up doing a song with Toe Down called Rich Girl. You're a rich girl and you've gone too far and it really don't matter
Oh.
anyway. And then it started all over again because 97.9 The Box would not stop playing that song. They played it until time got better. And it started again. Oh, you're the girl that's on Bridge Girl. Oh, I heard that's my favorite song. Oh, that's number one on the countdown today. So I was like, oh man, this stuff is hard. How do I become a normal kid?
Were children, did people want autographs from you or pitch? Well, I guess, yeah, but you had camera phones at this time, right? Maybe?
So I didn't have a phone. I didn't get a phone until after I graduated high school. My dad was like, you don't need to call nobody. Nobody
And
needs to call you. I
yeah,
pick you up and take you to school. You don't need no phone. So I grew up without a phone.
okay. But other children though, other children had phones at this.
They had phones. So they would ask to take pictures to show their moms or their dads.
Mm.
Or I had one girl ask me to sign her binder.
Hey, look, she had the right idea, man. She had the right idea because that's going to be worth thousands, if not
And I was
millions,
like,
at some
why
point.
am I signing this? And she's like, I just want you to sign the binder so I can show it to my big brother because he doesn't believe me. Just like, okay, I guess, whatever.
Yeah,
And signed
man.
her the Lisa Frank binder. I was like, oh,
You're a
okay.
superstar.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. Signing binders.
All you were missing was your security to take you around to each class.
Oh man. I thank God I did not have that. That would have been so awkward and embarrassing. Whew.
That would have been very different. Oh, you're oh, we can't come near you though because you got some bodyguards.
That would have been awkward. Thank
Mm,
you. That did not happen.
definitely. Okay. Um, we've gone pretty many different places here. So, whilst we're at school, that's one thing I missed off. What was in heavy rotation in the CD player or the MP3 player at this time? What were we playing? Were we playing all the Houston artists, or were we still into this pop stuff?
So my playlist is everywhere, literally. Where I have to basically organize it.
Hmm.
So I have me, over there in that little section, but I'm my hardest critic. So when I'm listening to my music, I'm listening on waste and proof,
Yes.
not like enjoyment, like, oh, this is it. Like, dang, that note could have been stronger. And my dad hates that about me. But that's what I do. I love criticism from anybody because it helps me become a better me. Um, I have rock in my, and I'm not talking about like this rock they have. I'm talking about hardcore. Like I was a Kiss fan. I had the bobbleheads and everything.
Oh shit,
Um,
Kiss. What about White
yeah,
Snake then? You like White Snake?
yeah. So I was fascinated with their makeup, and I actually went to go and see them. They performed at a monster truck rally that was here in Houston. And I remember telling my dad, like, he split his tongue, Daddy, like, that is not a human man. And they had these boots on, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is it. Like, I like this music. So I went on a Kiss binge for a while. Then my dad got me into Red Chili Peppers. So I listened to them too. And then that phase just disappeared. And I went into a country phase where,
Country. Okay.
yeah, I needed to listen to Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton is actually how I discovered Whitney Houston because I discovered I Will Always Love You from Dolly Parton first.
Ah.
Um, Blake Sheldon, I still listen to him now. I've been to a couple of his concerts and I'm in there screaming, like not singing his songs, but screaming his songs along. Opera. I've listened to a lot of opera. My dad actually had me in opera training for 3 years.
Wow.
Hardest thing I've ever done in my life besides give birth.
I can imagine.
Um,
It seems that is a very skilled vocal activity.
it's intense. It's intense. And those trainers, they don't believe in, whoo, I couldn't do that. No, stand up straight, use your diaphragm. Correct posture will help the note come out. Make sure you can read music. It was to the point where sometimes I would come home and cry and tell my dad I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah.
Has
Opera
any
training was, whew.
has any of that training helped you in your normal vocal range?
Yes. And you will see that in this album. You're gonna be the first person to get this album, I promise. Um,
Excellent.
so I actually used opera in a couple of interludes, so you guys can actually see how high those people forced me to go.
That'll be yes. Um, all right. I'm gonna be a. Are we going? This isn't gonna be an EP. This is a full album, right?
Full album. It was gonna start off as the EP. The EP's name was gonna be Statistics. The reason we were gonna name it Statistics was because I actually took statistics and I researched for about 2 months statistics that they have on minorities. And I just wanted to manipulate those into a song. But as we
Wow.
got deeper in to the album and we actually started listening to it, it was actually a little bit deeper than just a statistics. So
Mm,
now we have statistics hanging over because we don't know if we're going to use that name or not.
yeah.
So yeah,
Watch this
um,
space.
yeah, this album is gonna be a lot different from other albums that I've put out and other songs that I've put out.
Mm. Let me rewind to not too long ago. How did you feel doing that live virtual concert? Was you nervous doing that?
What was I? Who? Yes, I was nervous. And then somewhere in there, I forgot my words. And I remember looking at my dad, and my eyes were tearing up. And he was like, "What are you going through?" I was like, "I don't know, Dad. I'm nervous. Maybe it's because I'm a mom now. My kids watching me. I don't know." And he was like, "Go in the car, cut the song on, listen to it 3 times, come back out." I said, "Okay." And then as I'm walking to the car, he goes, "Just do what I used to do when I get nervous, or I thought about you and how I didn't want you to see me fail." Okay, I got it. Okay, make sure my daughter does not see me fail. And actually, when I did that performance, I blacked out. So yeah, it was weird. I kind of just blanked
You
everything. Like I couldn't see nobody. I just imagined me on stage and my little girl sitting down there rooting for me. That's all I saw. I didn't see cameras, nothing.
you just zoned out totally.
Zoned out completely. It was just me and my daughter, and I was doing it for my baby. That's it.
Uh, correct me, was it was two performances you did, wasn't it? Or was it just
Uh-huh. I did
yeah.
2. No, I did 3. I did
Three?
3. I didn't know I was going to do 3. I thought I was only going to do 1. So when I got there, luckily I keep a little bag in my truck with clothes. I'm running like a mad woman, taking off wigs and putting clothes on. And my dad's like, "What are you doing?" "They want me back in there, so I'm going to go back in there." And then ESG came and was like, "Hey, are you going to stay? Because I'm doing our songs." I was like, "Guess I'm going to
uh
stay.
Everyday
Can't say
street
no."
gangster.
So I was like, "All right, I guess I'm going."
Mr. ES. Okay. So all right. Um how comes maybe you're the wrong person to ask this, but why haven't we heard you on any of, like, for instance, any artists rapping artist albums of late?
So, when I was younger, my grandma kind of wanted me to not be in the rap scene because it was a little different than it is now.
Yes.
It was a lot crazier then.
Hmm.
So she kind of wanted me to stay in a kid's place, I'll say.
Hmm.
So I did the kid friendly songs, the samples. As I've gotten older, my dad is like, "Go for it because you understand now what you are doing."
Mm,
So now I'm kind of shadowing him because I get calls for hooks all the time from the same people he's done hooks for.
I can
So
imagine.
it's pretty cool. I've done a lot of stuff with ESG. Um, ESG has taught me a lot of stuff as well. And Kiki, I've been on 3 of Kiki's albums. I've done a song with Powwow. I recently did a song with J Dog, which was epic because I'm a J Dog fan and a Young
Yeah.
Easy fan. And I've done 4 songs with Young Easy. and I'm a big fan of him as well. So yeah,
You
it's been pretty cool here lately.
you're doing the thing.
Creating with, yeah, creating with these fantastic artists that I grew up with and called uncles, and they're in here. You're not singing hard enough, girl. I know you can sing better than that.
And
Like
then
I'm trying. Like I
belt that
just do.
out, man. Belt that tune out, sis.
Yeah.
Oh man. So what if as we wind down, what else would you like to impart to the siblings and listeners about your journey, your life, anything up and coming which is new outside of the album?
Um, it's not easy. It may look like it's super easy from things that you post, but it's not as easy as it looks. It's very difficult. There are moments when you wake up and you're like, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? So it's very important to stay grounded and create a goal. Like my goal that keeps me pushing in music is I'm going to get a Grammy before I leave this earth. Not I want to or I wish I can. No, I'm going to get a Grammy before I leave
Hmm.
this earth. So I know I have to figure out my path towards this Grammy and I got to work at it nonstop. I need it on my wall to say, baby girl, mama did it. I did it. I worked hard. I said I was going to achieve it and I did. Don't give up. Even if that little voice in the back of your head is like, you just need to go and sell all your studio equipment and go get a 9 to 5. Don't listen to that
Mm.
little voice because it is not an important voice. That is someone called the devil.
Yep.
And he likes to work and he likes to feed off of your weakness. So make sure you don't have that weak part of you vulnerable and at least available to him to use because he will drain you. And there was a moment where a couple of years ago, I told my dad I don't want to do it anymore. Make sure you have strong people in your corner
Hmm.
where if you get thrown off of your written path, they're right there to push you back on it. My husband, if I look like I'm about to slip, they're going, no, no,
Mm.
no, because I didn't book studio time. I didn't pay for tracks. I didn't pay. No, ma'am. You here. We don't take sick days. We don't believe in that. If you are sick and you lose your voice, you are taking that time to listen to tracks so you can write.
Yes.
There's no days off from singing or modeling. There's no such thing. You can take a vacation, but as you guys see, I'm on vacation now. You working. It never stops. Figure out a way to enjoy it and have fun with it. Don't think of it as, dang, I gotta get up and I gotta do this interview.
Mm.
No, get up there, have fun with it, and put it on your list of things that you accomplished and you got done. Because not everyone can wake up and say, hey, I did an interview today while looking out the window at a mountain.
This is
So
it.
you take it all in, and most of all, make sure the man upstairs, make sure that you're giving him all the proper praise and all the glory, because truth be told, he gave you the gift.
Hmm.
He's the one that can take the gift away. And just be thankful for it, and be thankful that you're blessed enough to wake up and breathe, because a lot of artists can't do that.
This is real talk. Outside of, someone, murder and stuff, people aren't people aren't tomorrow is not promised, unfortunately.
No, it's not.
So we, as you say, we need to give thanks every day. Um, Also, faith without works is death. So we can't, there's some people who are on this, that with verbally it sounds all good, but you also need to put the work in,
Right. You
physically
have
put
to
the
put
work
work
in.
in. It's
Yes,
not going to be handed to you.
definitely not. Definitely not. As a man thinketh, so it shall be. So you've got to think it first, and then you've got to put the work in, and then that
Right.
thought is
Manifest it. Put
physically
it in a
manifested.
bowl and manifest it.
You
Just
know,
make it come true.
you already know the
It
things is.
says if you ask, you shall receive.
Hmm.
Ask. You might not get it today or tomorrow, but he gonna make it to where when you do get it, you're gonna appreciate it, and it's when you need it the most.
Hmm.
So he is a big big part of my life and in my journey.
Give thanks. Great to hear. Great to hear. Because unfortunately, there is a lot of people who are straying away from what they were raised in, and I can understand totally why. Because unfortunately, man's word and traditions are very different to what's written in the book.
Right. It
Um,
is.
and as I say, unfortunately, people get tied to personalities and people talking rather than actually studying to show thyself approved. So it's nice going on a Sunday and stuff. That's all gravy.
Right. But you got to take it.
Yeah.
Take it home with you and use it.
Hmm.
My grandmother is no longer here. And
Rise in paradise.
when my grandmother, she passed away from a heart attack. I was put in the care of my dad and now my aunt, my grandmother's daughter, my dad's sister. And it followed. And I found that so beautiful. Everything that my grandmother was teaching me, she taught it to her daughter. And it was kind of like my grandmother never left because
Exactly.
my aunt taught me everything. And she was in my corner. She still is in my corner. She's my makeup artist. So my aunt and her spirituality is beautiful. She can take something so negative and just, hey, God has you, like
Yeah.
you're okay. Don't even,
Mm.
she'll wake up and call me in the morning, hey baby, was thinking about you, just want to pray for you, pray for my great niece and my nephew-in-law. Once she started raising me, I feel like I got more in contact with God and just knowing that, hey, it's okay. It's a higher being out there. I'm gonna be okay. I got prayer.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm okay.
Hmm.
So I thank her for that. She plays a major part in my life. She picked up where my grandmother, unfortunately, it was my granny's time. And my aunt has been a blessing in the music world. She pushes me, my God, she pushes harder than my dad does. And she can't sing a lick,
I was
but
just
in
about
her
to ask
mind, she
you.
can.
I was just about to ask you, is Auntie a singer as well then?
No, you think she is. She's in the studio screaming, you hit that note. I know you got it. It's in your stomach. And I'm just like, I'm losing my voice. And Rachel, like, what am I supposed to do? That woman is hard, boy. Woo-wee.
Mm.
But I'm thankful for it. She broke me out of my shell. And I tell a lot of people that they think that my dad broke me out. My dad gave me the strength.
Mhm.
But my shell that I was in, it took her to have a talk with me. And it was a straightforward talk. Her talk was basically, you acting like you don't want it. And if you don't want it, you wasting my time and everybody else's time in the studio. So you need to basically tell me if this is what you want to do, or if you don't want to do it, so I can go home and watch my soap operas. And I remember thinking, like, that is mean. Like, why would you say that? Don't say that to me. I'm going through something right now. No, you're not going through anything. You're being stubborn and you wasting a lot of people's time. Get in there and sing this song, girl, so we can go.
Mm.
And I remember I went in there and I sang that song like that was the last song I was gonna sing in life.
That motivation.
Man, that was some kind of motivation. When I came out the booth, the smile on her face was right here. And she was like, I
Yeah.
told you you could do it. And let's go
Yep.
get something to eat.
This is it.
She pushes me hard. She really does.
Mm. At the right
And
time for the
at
right
the right
purpose.
time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Because
those are the people that have raised me and made me into this goofy woman.
this
They're
very
responsible for this.
this very talented young woman, I would say as well. So let's not forget that. Let's not forget that at
Ooh,
all.
there's a team behind it. I'm telling you.
Listen, there's a team behind any great woman or any great man. So you know, there's no rocks that stand alone. There's something that
No.
reinforces that. Yeah, man, and to highlight, trustly, everyone everyone heard, but in case they wasn't listening, the importance of having a strong support circle, a true support circle around you is vital.
It's
It's vital.
important. They're part of your foundation.
This is it. When you take the left turn rather than staying on the right path, those people are going to be there to say, "Oh no, no, don't go left. This is where come on. This is where you're
You're
supposed
going
to go."
wrong. They are your human GPS.
Hmm.
That's what they are.
Definitely. Um, I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I have two very last questions for you, Mademoiselle. First one: have you had fun today?
Had an awesome time today. This was I got to sit down, not going to the mountains today and just talk to someone new. Yeah, I've enjoyed this.
Great, great. We've gone so many different places. Um, I think I know a large portion um, of who you are and your aspirations, dreams, and goals. Um, Tell us who you are, but don't tell us your name.
I am energetic. I am very spiritual. I love to sing. I love to dance, be goofy, be happy, and I am a family person. Most of all, I like shooting my goals directly and knocking them out the ballpark. That is who I am.
Wonderful, wonderful. Make sure you give baby girl a big hug. I've been hearing her throughout this build, ramping in the background. Salute to your king. How can the siblings and listeners get hold of you? What's the best way, social media wise, if you can throw all that good stuff out?
So you guys can go on Instagram, RONNETTA_. I do follow back. And you guys can also get me on Ronnetta Denise Spencer on Facebook and a Ronnetta_. That's RONNETTA_ on Twitter. And yes, I follow back and I tweet all of my fans.
Interactive, responsive social media handler here. So make sure you go over, subscribe if you're not already, follow, do all of that wonderful stuff and interact. And if this is the first time you've stumbled across this, go back in the archives and listen. Go onto the iTunes, the Spotify, just Google the name and see what this young lady has brought forth as a vocalist. I'm pretty sure you'll be happy and it will bring some smiles to your face.
I hope you guys will.
Definitely. I'll make sure I put the links to all the social medias below in the description. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share. We will be back continuing this Texas series.
Definitely.